but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill. You like a fill you like a pill to get my fill. No, do me in the worst way. Don't let me sleep, never say you're sorry. Oh, maybe I'll leave, baby, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill. You like a Fuck about that. What a time, what a vibe, and we are hardly beginning to know this party. We got us, we got they, we got them harmony. Oh, cause we know deep down in the world on this rock we got all these rules that everyone keep making up.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the quarterfinals of the Platinum Division playoffs. We are here in Conference 1 with a match between Roadrunner Gaming and Nebula Phoenix. Conference 1 has been super tight most of the season, so this should be a very exciting match. I'm going to be your caster for tonight, Heathen. Joining me today is producer, the first night of Knee. And we're going to go straight into Ilio's first point, 30 seconds on the clock for these teams to pick their compositions. Now, I remember a little bit of the team in blue here, Roadrunner Gaming, but I don't remember a whole lot about Nebula Phoenix. If I remember my Roadrunner Gaming, though, U Pickles is one of my favorite Ana players. Always watching out for this player to land massive anti-nades. Has gotten my player of the game twice so far throughout this season. I believe 2 stream games featuring that player. But going in, we see an early glimpse of what the teams are thinking of for compositions. We see Roadrunner Gaming not opting for that Ana pick, but instead putting U Pickles on the Lucio, following it up with a Pharmacy dive composition. Meanwhile, in Nebula Phoenix's corner, we see a Pharmacy as well, but Nessington is currently sitting on the Torbjorn, swaps over to the D.Va. That's more of what I expected them to run. It's close to a mirror matchup right now, with the only difference being J-Rath's Sombra versus Naya Kobe's McCree, if I'm saying that right at all. And that means that Sombra should be the first one to get a point, and she is getting some scouting information as the far as shooting the sky, and Matlas is taken out immediately. That's going to be a major pick, as there's a lot of aggression coming in from Nebula Phoenix. Winston jumping forward onto point. Neutron is pushing up, trying to get some damage and taking a lot of space. Nexus has been taken out of the backline, and it's all but over right now for Roadrunner Gaming on this first push. It should be a pretty easy cleanup for Nebula Phoenix. There's a little bit of fire coming in from the distance from Matlas, who did respawn, but has to fall back due to his health bar falling low. And going to this next fight, we see Naya with the High Noon ready. It's going to be pretty difficult for the Pharmacy to play around this. Oftentimes, the High Noon you'll see catch the Mercy, and that could be very devastating for this dive composition. But going up, the Winston diving in pretty deep there, looking to find something in the backlines, finds Sweaty, doing some damage, but gets slapped up. Meanwhile, the fight is going on outside. Matlas manages to get the pick, and it looks like a bit of a brawl right now. Winston trying to find some value, but he's going to be taken out of the fight. J-Squad removed. Sweaty Brawls is finally removed, and that means there should be a little bit of advantage for Roadrunner, but losing Matlas is going to make it more difficult. Looking out right now for the High Noon, he has the bubble to protect him, but it looks like he doesn't even need to opt to do it right now. Naya's just going to shoot his Peacekeeper on point. Respawns have come in, though. Winston has come back for the side of Roadrunner Gaming, and it looks like Mercy's fallen off the map. That's absolutely devastating. We're matching this due to a hack. Naya being taken out of the fight. Mercy Valking on point, trying to keep her team up, but the anti-nade lands on 2, and it means you pick up us play a little bit more conservatively for the moment. Primal comes out from Neutron, and she is rampaging all over the point, losing half of her health pretty quick, though. It's going to be difficult for him to stay forward, but Weatherblade with the Rocket Barrage catching one, take out the main tank. It's going to be difficult for Roadrunner to continue without that shield and main tank present, especially with Sun being taken out of the fight. And it looks all but over right now for Roadrunner Gaming. Should be a cleanup right now coming out from Nebula Phoenix. And we see Farah dying instead of being able to retreat. 83% on the scoreboard. Haven't had a while to talk because the fight's been going on. But going into this next engagement, J-Rath does have EMP. And it's going to be up to Roadrunner Gaming to set the pace of this fight using that EMP. If they don't manage to do that, it's going to be difficult for them to move forward. And it looks like J-Squad did have to commit to a point pretty early. The D.Va Bomb's dropping in. High Noon popped. Beat does not sustain Nexus through that. And it looks like the frags are coming out. And it looks like Roadrunner Gaming has a pretty distinct advantage right now. J-Squad trying to zone out Naya. Sweaty Bros has been taken on the backline. And that's going to be the point flipped over 0% to 99%. However, it's extremely difficult for Roadrunner or any team to win from a 0.99 disadvantage. And we're seeing some swaps coming out. Nice swapping over to the Widowmaker. It's going to make life heck for this Pharmacy combo in the sky. Neutron coming close to that Primal, meaning that she can jump forward in this engagement pretty freely and take whatever space she feels like and get out without having to worry much about her health bar. Pharmacy dueling in the sky. Winston jumps in. It's not going to land good because of a good boop there. U Pickles takes out Naya in the back line. The rest is going to come out, but Farah's trying to keep that Mercy at bay. Mercy's in a bit of a dire situation right now. Has to pop Falk as she's hacked up. And it looks like Winston's going to commit into the back line on both sides. Doesn't look like it's getting a whole lot of anywhere right now as both Mercies are managing to keep their team up. And Eyes on Web to drop the rocket barrage. It is charged for both sides, and whoever drops it first is going to probably die to the other Pharah. But it looks like in the meantime, Nebula Phoenix has lost most of its members. Only Pharmacy currently sustaining itself, and they should be forced to retreat. Mercy in a little bit of a hot situation, but she's going to get out just fine. Going into the next engagement, however, G-Wrath does have EMP ready once again. I don't recall exactly if this player has used it yet. I imagine holding on to that this whole time would be a little bit crazy. Weber in the skies, looking to do some damage. Main tank jumping in, and Winston's going to fall to the ground. Looks like Neutron isn't going to find much value. Being pushed back, hacked up, not a lot of health, but Matless being taken out. That's exactly what they need. The EMP lands, takes out Weber. Diva Bomb coming in. It might catch one, but it's a little bit too high in the sky. Matless gets rested up in the back line, and it looks like Nebula Phoenix don't have a land to stay on at the moment. The Diva Bomb goes off. Naya taken out. Farah has no threats left except for the inability to stand on the point without taking a massive amount of damage. Primal coming out from Neutron. She's rampaging around, but lost its sweaty brawls. It's going to be difficult to move forward. A nice resurrection. A good rocket barrage to follow up. But Weber's going to be taken out of the fight. J Squad's falling as well, and Matless drops his own rocket barrage, and he's not going to get anywhere with it. Taken out too quickly due to an anti-nade, and it looks like Valk from both Mercies. Resurrect coming out, and it's going to be good. J Squad is back in this fight. The main tank is exactly what that team needed at this point, and it looks like the Valk is going to end from both Mercies in just a second. And with that, most of the sustainability for the side of Nebula Phoenix should be gone, but the respawns have come back. They are good, and it looks like Neutron has another rampage. Primal Fury has come out. Sun taken out of the fight, and it looks like Nebula Phoenix have turned this fight on its head, taking out 4 members effectively from the side of Roadrunner Gaming, and it's up to Matless to die on point. There's nobody left. Nope, I'm sorry. There's a Winston left. J Squad is the sacrificial lamb to die on point as his team can't make it in time, and Nebula Phoenix are going to take the first map. But it was really close. Coming off of that 98-9-0, I did not expect that map to be that close, and it kind of caught me by surprise there at the end. The Nebula Phoenix were able to turn that fight around, but it lasted for so long because of the Primal coming out from Neutron and because of the Valk coming out from Yarzik. I'm pronouncing that wrong, and I know it, but that's my best guess right now. Because of all that sustainability, Nebula Phoenix were able to sit on the fight for so long that the respawns were able to come back from the base, and they were able to get some picks and turn the fight around. And it was really impressive to see them do that. I did kind of call out that there was a huge advantage due to the... Hold on. We seem to be needing a pause at the moment, but we're not getting one because we have lost our referee at the moment. I don't know if Sun has noticed that they are now the lobby leader, but it looks like we're going to continue the match anyways. Naya gets res back up, but Weber gets taken out as well. Matless with the quick double pick there means that his team has a pretty distinct advantage. Nessington gets demeched, and it looks like this Roadrunner Gaming squad has the ability to just run all over Nebula Phoenix at the moment. Looks like we're seeing a dive coming in from Neutron. Nessington falls in the meanwhile, though, so Neutron doesn't have a lot of momentum behind him. J Squad getting taken out. That's going to be the first pick for the side of Nebula Phoenix, but that might just be their only pick for this fight. Again, we're still kind of curious about what's happening with that pause that we should be seeing, but the clock is ticking away. 12% is down, and the first ultimate that should be ready should be G-Wrath's Doomfist, and this gives this player a lot... I'm sorry, Neutron's Primal Rage. They both kind of have a similar mechanic here of allowing the character to dive in deep without having to worry about their own sustainability because they can pop their ult and get back a whole bunch of health very quickly. But Matless is commanding a lot of sidelines right now. G-Wrath is... Weber is not comfortable moving forward, and Weber's going to be taken out of the fight. The anti-nade lands onto G, but it's not going to do them a whole lot of good. Val comes out from Yar, and it looks like Pickle's being taken out of the fight. That might be the pick that they need. However, G-Wrath is just killing everybody right now. This man has all the room he needs to get the picks. He does get taken out of the fight, and I missed that as I was talking, but the damage has been done. Nessington burning out on the high ground, falling very low, and it looks like Neutron, she's going to make it back to point, but she was thrown off momentarily, and J Squad needs to back up a little bit before he feeds a lot more ult charge like Nexus is currently doing right now. That's a lot of damage, and it's a lot of mech charge given back to Nessington off of that. Going to this next engagement, however, we see U-Pickles ready with the Nano Boost, Sweaty Brawls on the opposing side, and who they Nano Boost kind of determines how they're trying to play this. They could drop it on the Winston or the Doomfist are the two classic options, depending on how aggressive you want to get with that Nano Boost. But we see a commitment on the point. Weber going in, Diva Bomb pop, and it looks like Naya's going to be the only casualty so far. Diva Bomb pop in return does take out Sun. That's not something that should be happening. The Resurrect going off, it's good. It's going to pick up Weber, and the Nano Boost has come out onto Jay. And it doesn't look like it's going to get them a whole lot because the whole team has been taken out except for Jay now. 99% cap, though. They're not too upset about that. 99 and the opponent managing to flip over just now means that they're in a really good spot to try and win out the rest of this series. And going into this next fight, Sweaty does have the Nano Boost because he did die so early last time, but now I take it now. That's not what you want to see. Diva committing in, Winston too. Meteor Strike used defensively to get out of the fight, and Nano Boost is going to be used for Winston jump in, but I say but. Neutron managed to take out J Squad. That was the focus fire of the Nano Boost damage. And it looks like Roadrunner Gaming are going to have to go back to the drawing board one more time and regroup in their spawn room. Nexus is going to be demeched. And it looks like Nexus is going to take the move to go off the cliff to get the mech back. That's definitely the fastest way to get it at this point. Going in this next engagement, and ults are still favoring Nebula Phoenix, just barely. Nessington has Diva Bomb ready. Neutron coming up on that Primal Rage versus, I guess, in 20% on both sides. The balance of power will shift back over to the Roadrunner Gaming as they build up G-Wrath and Nexus's ultimate. But definitely pretty even going into this engagement right now. Neutron gets slept up, and the main tank being down means Weber's going to fall as well. Primal Rage comes out, Neutron being thrown out, but has the ability to jump out. Diva Bomb dropped in, just barely not going to catch anybody. Primal manages to catch one. Diva Bomb catching another. Both tank ults getting a lot of value right now. And it's going to come down to a bit of a brawl right now as it looks like J Squad is going to be forced back. Sun did not quite get the memo and is going to be killed off on point. Meteor Strike being used, that was from G-Wrath, and it looks like Roadrunner is not done yet with this fight. He's going forward. G-Wrath is looking for pick, and he's going to find Nexus's mech. The Hammond in the air, going into the backline, trying to find some value. Meanwhile, Neutron can't stand on point any longer. Nessington going forward isn't going to be able to make any room, hurts himself, and it looks like Naya's sights might just be what they need. If they can find some damage on this backline, they managed to take out Sun, but that's the only pick that they're going to get. Farrah isn't going to be able to make it to point, and that's going to be a 1-1 tied up series so far.
Score 1-1.
And gonna check in with the players to see what happened with that host migration issue. I believe we lost Storms momentarily, and Storms is back, but is not the referee. Sorry, I'm being quiet for a moment as I'm trying to resolve this, but going into this next objective, we see G-Wrath on the Junkrat, followed up by Matles on the Farah. This is a pretty high damage shield break composition, and what they're going into is a Widowmaker Farah. Kind of looks like Naya is expecting Matles to fall back onto that Farah, especially on this point because it is so much shield break. Kind of an abuse of the meta and how many teams like to run Orisa on this map, I'd say. But the boop is going to be, nope, not going to quite catch anyone. Nessington still had boosters, and it looks like both teams spamming each other down, but Nessington's in the hole once again, has to use boosters, and it's coming off cooldown at just the perfect opportunities. Farah duel in the sky, neither team really committing hard right now, but Nebula Phoenix do have point control so far, and it's ticked further into their flavor, meaning it's going to be difficult for Roadrunner Gaming to justify standing off point for any amount of time. We see Weber in the backline, drops the Rocket Barrage, catches two, looking for third, but gets taken out himself. But the damage has been done. Even if Sun manages to get off this Resurrect, it's going to be an advantage towards the side of Nebula Phoenix, but they don't really have the ability to push that advantage in any way. They can only really stand back, wait for J Squad to try and push them back with the whole hog, and it looks like Neutron's in the pit. That's exactly what Roadrunner Gaming needed. It's going to be difficult now, actually, for Nebula Phoenix, and they've recognized this. They've fallen back. They have a lot of ultimates getting ready for this next engagement. The Valkyrie beat Supercharger and Widow's sights are all ready. They have a lot of opportunity, but not a lot of these ultimates combo with each other in any specific ways. You can sort of combo Valk with Supercharger just to get the 80% damage boost, but it's not great. And meanwhile, Matlas does have Rocket Barrage, and watching out for him when he's going to drop it. Meanwhile, Nexus being taken out, the main tank being lost is devastating in these engagements, and knowing that Sunumbre pops Valk, gets the res off. Valk from both sides right now. Diva Bomb being dropped. It doesn't look like it should catch anything, and it won't, but the point is dangerously close to taking over. G-Wrath drops the tire. It's spinning around. It's looking for value. Takes out Neutron. The main tank, again, is very critical, and they're going to use the Resurrect to bring him back once more. Both teams have mirrored this move so far, and they're playing it perfectly, but neither team are really able to aggress into each other's backline. Neutron being dropped off the map. J Squad with the huge picks, repeatedly winning out these fights effectively for his team. And it looks like his team can aggress forward. Now J Squad popping off the whole hog, managing to get a little bit of DMAC damage onto Nessington. And we see Nebula Phoenix regrouping once again. I'm curious what they're thinking about for this next engagement. We see Nia swapping over to the Soldier 76. This is less lethal against Matlas, but it's a little bit more consistent, it's a little bit more shield break, and it's a little bit more healing. Other than dealing with Matlas, this pick does provide everything else that they were looking for. And right now, speaking of Matlas, he's trying to put some damage in. He's hovering over this shield, and he does have Rocket Barrage ready. He hasn't really been opting super aggressive. Weber dropping in the backline with the Rocket Barrage, just as I was talking about, takes out 3. There's too many dead to be resurrected, and they didn't manage to take out Weber. This fight should be going pretty cleanly towards Nebula Phoenix, with a little bit of stagger there on J Squad in the back. But Matlas is still holding on to Rocket Barrage, and if he can make a similar play as to what Weber just did, this fight may be going back into the favor of Roadrunner once again, and they are at 99%. They have a pretty large advantage, and we've seen every point so far tick up to 99% before being flipped over, and then only flipping back over at the other 99%. Interested to see if we're going to see that trend once more. But we see the Forest squaring off in the sky, trying to pick off each other, but whoever's not even focusing on Matlas, taking out Upicus in the back. That's the more important pick right now. Rez comes out, but G-Wrath has been taken on the meantime. Matlas drops the ultimate, and it's not going to find any value. But that being said, it looks like Nebula Phoenix have a pretty large advantage going into this fight. J Squad being taken out at the cost of Weber Blade. Resurrect is going to be good, though, getting that player back. And it looks like Roadrunner Gaming are going to go back to regroup once again. And in this next fight, they have Tyre ready. And one thing about Orisa that I love is that she does not die to Tyre because of Tyre's 600 damage, I believe, but Orisa during Fortify will only take 300 damage, meaning that she can survive. So this is one of those situations where Tyre getting sneaky into the backline and being safe with it won't just win you a free fight. And it's going to be difficult to flip this one back over, especially with the visor coming out that should be capable of blocking the Tyre. If you can see it, Weber dropping the Rocket Barrage in the back, taking out 2 at the cost of his own life. 3 fall, 2 in response. But it looks like Nebula Phoenix should be holding on to this point pretty effectively. Matlas gets taken out as well as J Squad gets traded back up. The Resurrect being good on that. But J Squad can't really stand on point right now. He's falling dangerously low, and he's falling out of the fight. Hammond rolling back in, looking for some value, but the Fortify is going to stop the knockup. Nexus trying to roll around, falling dangerously low, needs to take some time to heal, but Weber has been taken on in the meantime. 2 have fallen on the side of Nebula Phoenix. Roadrunner Gaming might just have a chance here, but they lose Nexus as I'm saying that. And another tactical visor for this fight. Takes out Matlas, makes Sunumbre's Valk very difficult to maneuver, and it looks like Roadrunner Gaming have all but been taken out of this fight. 2 remain, 1 remain. It is just Sunumbre fighting for her on Battle Mercy on the point, falling in the well. The point is gonna tick away. Nebula Phoenix win the first map.
Play of the game.
And play the game going the way of Neutron. I'm imagining this is on... Nope, I would be wrong. It is on the second objective. I don't see the ultimate here, so it looks like Neutron just did quite a bit of damage. This was a really good push for them, I like to note, but not what I expected Overwatch's play of the game log algorithm to determine as the best play. But yeah, pretty solid, very close games, 99 to 99, I believe, on every single map on Ilios. And now we should be going into the second map of this series, and would be very excited if the series were to stay as close as it has been for the rest of the 4 to 5 maps that we have. Well, 3 to 5. We're in the playoffs. We don't actually play all 4. I'm very used to our 4-map series that we have during the normal season, where you play all 4 maps regardless of if one team manages to get the 3 on the first 3 maps. But looking over at some things, we're waiting on the decision for second map, and it looks like it's gonna be Eichenwald. Now, both teams were running really similar compositions, so it's difficult to say off of that alone that one of these hybrid maps would be better for any specific team, just because of how close both maps were and how mirrored their compositions were. But it felt like Phoenix were more willing to swap to that Widowmaker play, and Eichenwald's second point is a pretty good Widowmaker spot. It's got a lot of long sight lines. It's got a lot of high grounds that she can get to that's difficult for other characters to get to. A lot of those isolated balconies I'm thinking of. So I'd say that this map point pick should be favoring Phoenix, but we're seeing Roadrunners pick it looks like. No one's swapping over the map, so it looks like we have a bit of town time at the moment. Yeah. So it looks like they're subbing in Kirk for Sweaty Brawls. Yeah. Just wanted to... Okay.
Hey everybody, this is your producer, First Night. I just want to go ahead and give a quick little shout out to S'mores in the chat for throwing in that 5-bit cheer. Granted, it may only be 5 bits, but every little bit helps to go towards the Rose League. And he is now the #1 cheer holder. So I just want to throw that out there. So if anybody wants to challenge him for the crown, you know what you got to do.
Did you say 5 bits?
Yeah, 5 bits, and he is the leader. He is the #1 bit leader at 5 bits. So if anybody wants to challenge that crown, you know what you got to do.
Donate 6 bits.
6 bits.
6 bits is all it takes to get you to the top of the leaderboard. And because we have so much downtime at the moment, oh wait, that downtime might be ending, but I don't know. We'll probably look back at it later if anybody manages to donate 6 bits later.
I'll keep on. I'm waiting for like 5.1 bits, if that's even possible.
Isn't like each bit a cent?
Yes, each bit did basically
so donate
correlates
5.1 cents.
Yeah, donate half a cent.
Is that like if you originally pay for your bits in pesos, do you get the 0.1?
I have no clue what the foreign currency is. I'm not very well versed in pesos.
Anyways, looks like we're going into Eichenwald, touching on this a bit earlier, but I was talking about the second objective where Widowmaker can see a lot of play. The first objective I've seen, especially in this tournament, a lot of Orisa bunker compositions, opting to take the first bridge and the straight path behind it and set up an Orisa with either... I haven't really seen a lot of Bastion, but I've definitely seen a bit of Torbjorn and some Junkrat, and it looks like the defense are opting for the Junkrat, but not with the Orisa that I was thinking about. They're going the Rind Zarya composition with Zenyatta Anna to back it up. Are they? J Squad? No. Well, He hasn't been doing. I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to him, but from what I've seen, he's been doing a pretty good job. Props to him, subbing in for his team, the DPS playing main tank. But going out of the gates, it looks like we have GOAT's composition coming in from Nebula Phoenix, and that, at least in theory, should be pretty devastating to a 222 Soldier 76 comp. The JRS should be nice, though. On the Junkrat, provides a lot of damage, can break through a lot of the shield, but it's going to be difficult for them to do that in time, considering GOAT's composition likes to take this Lucio speed boost and get close. The trap does catch Neutron. That's going to buy a little bit of time for Roadrunner. Defense Matrix is eating up respective fire strikes, and it looks like the charge across point isn't going to catch anything. Jace got a little bit out of position. Pickle's being taken on the back line. And it looks like Nebula Phoenix should have this fight pretty much in the bag. That was a pretty clean, pretty quick 5-kill, 6K. There wasn't much of a contest that fight. Once Pickles had fallen and J-Squad was out of position by pressing charge and flying across the entire map, it was really easy for Nebula Phoenix to remove the rest of the squad. And going into the second point, we are seeing some swaps coming out from the side of Roadrunner. We see the pharmacy coming out. Malice is in the sky, but Fart is alone. Doesn't matter. Takes out Kirk anyways. Doesn't need the Mercy Pocket to get a whole lot of value here, and it's going to take out Weather Blade as well. This is looking pretty devastating actually for the GOAT's composition. The Pharah is challenging for them to get to, and they were not able to close the ground fast enough to get some picks on the less mobile parts of the Roadrunner composition. They are grouping up, they aren't swapping off, and they have a few ultimates to work with in this next engagement. The thing I'm worried about is Naya is dangerously close to that Graviton Surge, and there's no defensive ultimate on the side of Roadrunner Gaming, meaning it should be pretty free as long as they can manage to get past Nexus, who is on the high ground right now. Malice getting the pick. The Nano Boost was good. The pin lands, and it looks like Roadrunner have a pretty distinct advantage in this fight right now. Tyre looking for some value. I don't think it's really going to find anything. It's rolling in the back line, but won't find anyone. Nessington does get demech'd. Meanwhile, and it's going to take a while for him to build his mech back up. Going into this next engagement, though, Matlas is on the Rocket Barrage. It'll be up to Nessington to build mech back in time in order to stop the Rocket Barrage. If Matlas were to drop it right now, there wouldn't be a defense matrix, and it'd be super challenging for them to survive. Rally has been popped. Nessington reaches 76%. Matlas in the back line looking for stragglers, and it looks like might find one, but there is a brawl breaking out. Justice does rain from above, but it's not going to rain on anyone's head. The res is good. J-Squad is back up in a little bit of trouble, though, as Graviton Surge comes up, but the heals are good. The Valkyrie and the healing nade going to keep everybody up, and it looks like Matlas is just going to get the opportunity to rain death from above. D-Bomb does take out G-Wrath. That's a little bit embarrassing because he should have had open sightline. He should have had an opening to hide behind cover for that, but he just wasn't able to get behind it in time. We see Neutron pushing forward. She's trying to put some pressure onto J-Squad, but the Nano Boost means that's going to be basically impossible. And J-Squad pushing forward, uses the Shatter, but it's kind of a one fight. And honestly, I have to criticize that Earth Shatter. The enemy team was down, I believe, 2 members, and it only managed to catch 1, and that is such an important ultimate in this fight, especially seeing Neutron did opt to switch to the Winston now. We're seeing a... Looks like Nebula Phoenix is done with the GOAT's composition. They've swapped over to the 222. They have Naya on the Widowmaker. It should be his opportunity to remove this pharmacy from the sky, but that hasn't been going so great so far in the series. Matlas going around, gonna rain down on these tanks who can't quite reach him with the pharmacy pocket. High ground is controlled by Nebula Phoenix, but just barely, and it looks like it'll be lost as I'm talking about it. Winston moving forward, J-Squad defending, Matlas looking for some pick, but 2 ults popped. Diavon finds 1, Tyre looking for another, and that's gonna be 3 down from the side of Nebula Phoenix. It's gonna be a reset coming up from them with the Nano Boost, ensuring that Malice getting the opportunity to put out a whole lot of damage, has Rocket Barrage ready for this next fight, but it is going to be their only ultimate. That might be a little bit of a dangerous situation because Kirk does have Transcendence ready, and a fast enough reaction time could mean that the Rocket Barrage could be nullified by Kirk's speedy Transcendence. We're seeing both Pharahs dueling in the sky right now. Neither of them finding anything super impactful at the moment. Just kind of burning down Jay's squad. Shield is the only result so far. And it looks like high ground will be taken by Nebula Phoenix. Naya taken out in the meantime, however, and that's not where you want to start. It looks like Matlas has been bowling this Widowmaker pretty much this entire match. Kind of the opposite of what you expect. Diva Bomb being dropped just for the remake. But there were 2 picks in the meantime that I missed out on. Jay's squad, Sonumbra, and Matlas being taken out. Suddenly Nebula Phoenix are pretty much in the advantage. But the Sleep Dart is good. Jerath is going to take on Weber at the cost of his own life. And that should be the objective, rolling through right up to the gate at the end of objective 2. And 60 seconds left on the clock for Roadrunner to pull something out here. They should have plenty of time to regroup, and Matlas has swapped over to the Widowmaker to try and take the 1v1 duel. But Neutron, watching those doors, making it difficult for anybody to push out at the moment. But nobody's able to push the cart at the moment. A little bit of an oversight there, giving the defense a little bit of time. J-Squad getting taken out first. That should be the end of this, basically. And that's going to be ensured by the 3-person rocket barrage. Well done from Weber, ending the fight right there. Objective 2 will be taken with just 24 seconds left on the clock. Rolling into Objective 3, though, we see J-Wrath swapping over to Reaper. I see this a lot against Winston's, the idea being that if a Winston jumps in and drops bubble, you can jump in the bubble fairly easily, outmaneuver him maybe, and put a lot of damage in, especially into that massive Winston headbox. Makes it very difficult for him to jump onto your backline. And we see Neutron jumping forward, taking the high ground, going to drop down, popping the Primal, and J-Wrath isn't able to zone that out. Hammer isn't going to connect with a whole lot, but does connect with 1. Upiko's taken out in the meantime, though. That's the pick that's going to matter. Diva Bomb on point, shouldn't connect with anything. J-Squad charging forward, connects with 1, and it's an even fight. 2 takes both sides, but J-Squad being taken out in the Resurrect means that this has been shifted back over to a 3-1. Malas is in trouble and taken out. We have, however, Nano Boost on the point. Nexus losing the mech even through the Nano Boost and the heal nade. Pickles is going to fall next, and it looks like this point should be capped. There's just 2 members left. Diva Bomb being dropped, and Jay's squad is able to dodge the damage, and Nessington's taken out by Matlas in the meantime, meaning that 1 pick has been made. So this is the opportunity for Roadrunner to regroup and try and get back on this point and force, but they're going to lose that time, losing 2 as well. Nebula Phoenix putting a pretty dominant lead in this fight right now. J-Squad coming back out a second time on the Wrecking Ball, but not going to get a whole lot of value anywhere. Tyre rolling out, just looking for anybody to come out and contest, but nobody's going to be there. That's round 1 complete, and there was a little bit of time left on the clock. But there's not enough that anybody needs to be worried about the time left. 21 seconds, meaning that if Roadrunner Gaming were to cap the 3rd point at all, they would also receive an extra attempt to try and push through the entire map. But we're going to flip around. Roadrunner Gaming will be on the attack now. Nebula Phoenix on the defense, and I'm interested to see what Nebula Phoenix is going to run on defense here. What a team runs on defense, kind of. I feel like you can kind of tell what the team is comfortable running based on what they run in defense on Eichenwald first. Because it is a point where you can sort of justify 2-2-2, you can sort of justify goats, and you can sort of justify bunker comp as well. I don't know if there's a clear-cut predominant meta, but definitely not one that I've been seeing so far in this tournament at least. And looking at the defense right now, we are seeing that bunker comp, which means that Nebula Phoenix so far has swapped over to more composition types than Roadrunner has. So in my eyes is the more versatile composition. But, well, I say that. I guess I haven't seen Roadrunner Gaming swap over to Goats yet, and I have. So that would be 2 comps, actually, that I've seen Nebula Phoenix on that Roadrunner Gaming haven't been on. Upickle sitting on Symmetra and Spawn Room right now, not expecting that to persist as Upickles is the support player, and we're seeing Upickle swap back over to the Ana. So that's more what I was expecting. We have the Pharmacy with the Sombra. This is a pretty well-rounded composition, gives the opportunity for a lot of good ultimate combinations, but it's going to be up to J-Rat to build that EMP fast. We see the Pharah duel being waged right now. Not going to find a whole lot. It's difficult for Pharah to move forward under Bastion fire. It's difficult for any member of this team to move forward under Bastion fire at the moment. And Pickles might be... Nope, Pickles is going to be just fine. Nautilus did fall low, did survive. Very fortunate for Roadrunner that Nautilus did not die due to that fire, due to how low his health was. And we're seeing the fight one more time. Snubber has to be careful with his health bar, and he's jumping pretty forward, but the Bastion wasn't looking that direction at the moment because the Mintings have worked their way up through the back line. And Roadrunner Gaming just waiting for their opportunity to jump forward. Gonna get halted up, though. Just gonna give Nexus a little bit more charge. Bastion has moved over to a bit of a weird position, not their usual one, and this does open up the opportunity for a cap if Matlas were to try to be sneaky about, but they're not gonna be sneaky about. The hack lands on the Bastion. A lot of damage is removed from the fight, along with Weaverblade. And the Anti-Nade just goes, lands on 3. The Immortality field may be out, but it's not going to mean that anybody can get healed off anytime soon. Neutron being taken out means that this fight should be going only one away, and that should be with Roadrunners capping the point. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Should be about 2:26 when it actually caps. 2:24. Yeah, 2:25. Okay. And that was a pretty decent cap time, about 1.5 minutes on the capture attempt. They did spend a lot of time waiting for their team to group up into the proper positions and just sitting in the hallway there, but not terrible, and puts them in a pretty good spot to win out this map. They should be hoping for at least a better time than their opponents on capping the third objective. But meanwhile, we have a Widow duel going on. Now controlling the high ground, Matlas controlling the low ground. Advantage often goes to the high ground in this situation because you can control when you peek, and the low ground has a little bit more of a challenging time with that. Anthony lands on Neutron. EMP blocks Rocket Barrage. Valkyrie comes out, meaning that the members of both teams should be pretty well sustained, and the Graviton does manage to catch a few members, but the team isn't in general able to get there. Widowmaker Matlas controlling the sightline very effectively at the moment, managing to beat back Nessington during the resurrection, and it means that Roadrunner Gaming have a pretty distinct advantage. They are going to be taking right off onto the bridge, I believe, if my math is correct, before Nebula Phoenix have the time to regroup, especially if Naya falls. However, Naya gets the pick on Sun. That might just be what they need. I'm expecting a speedy regroup from Nebula now to try and abuse the fact that Mercy is dead on the side of... Well, Matlas gets 2 picks, actually. That turns it all around. J-Squad does fall. And nope. My original prediction was correct. It looks like Nebula Phoenix should be tipping this fight back over in their favor and taking back control of the high ground. But G-Wrath in the background looking to assassinate Kirk. Gonna be stopped by the Diva just in time. Dropping down to about 50 health before the Defense Matrix was able to stop the damage, but that's exactly where you needed it. Going in this next engagement, we have the Diva Bomb from Nebula Phoenix, and we have almost a Primal Rage, and we have a Transcendence. There's a lot of utility ready for Nebula Phoenix, and there's not a lot of ults ready for Roadrunner to try and stop it. It's going to be up to J-Squad to land the Earth Shatter, and he managed to take out 1, but Malice has fallen in the meantime, meaning that's only even up the fight, and J-Squad falling off the map. All but ensures that this fight has ended already before it begun in the favor of Nebula Phoenix. A little bit of fight in the background. Upick is going to fall off the map. Nexus should be demech and should opt to jump off. Yep. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left on the clock, and Roadrunner Gaming need to group back up. They have a better situation with their ultimates than they did last time, but not a great situation. G-Wrath does have EMP, but it's not an ultimate that I would like to see them dropping in their own, especially with how often this ultimate can win out fights on its own if it's paired correctly with the Diva Bomb that's charging up. The Diva Bomb's only at 56%, and I'm expecting them to combo that next fight rather than this fight. Neutron jumping in. She may have jumped a little bit too... Nope, she's fine, actually. G-Wrath gets taken out. Diva Bomb being dropped from the side of Nebula Phoenix means the Nexus gets taken out because of recent demech. But it looks like Roadrunner Gaming have all the space in the world. They need to back up and try to come at this one more time. Nexus did not build Diva Bomb off that fight, though. So that's a pretty bit of a precarious situation for Roadrunner going into this next objective, because they yet to have a convincing combo for the EMP. Looks like we see the team Nebula Phoenix looking around for the Sombra, spraying in every direction, as they should. doing. G-Wrath does get cut out by that and is killed promptly, meaning that this fight, Roadrunner's already at a pretty distinct disadvantage. They haven't had a good chance going into most of these fights so far. And Nexus really needs to build up that ultimate, but at 98%, that's basically guaranteed by the next engagement. Nano Boost was used on J Squad, but it feels like a bit of a lost fight at the moment. Malice does take out Counterpart, but does fall immediately in response, and it is going to be a reset for the side of Roadrunner Gaming. 30 seconds left on the clock. If they're going to get it done, they need to get it done in this next fight, and they finally have the EMP Diva Bomb that they've been looking for so long to try and get it done. But sidelines come out. Pause does happen due to a DC on the side of Sombra. That would be Roadrunners have a DC. If it's G-Wrath or Nexus, that's absolutely devastating. But basically anything 23 seconds left on the clock is going to be a challenge. I'm being told right now that it is Pickles who is at 5% ult charge and should be back towards the spawn room, which means it shouldn't be a massive change in how the game was going to progress for them to just reconnect and walk forward. But 23 seconds can be difficult for them to set up where she wants to in time. And looking at this next engagement, Nai has already committed sites to find G-Wrath, meaning it's going to be difficult for them to set up the EMP bomb the way that they want to, because 15 seconds ticking down means that they're going to be at 8 seconds remaining. Weber has the tire. These have been getting picks all game, and there's no reason that it shouldn't be getting a pick in this fight. And Kirk with the Transcendence, meaning that he didn't counter the EMP if it were dropped just on him. If he drops it in time, or if he goes to hide, there's a couple of ways for you to work around that, but
Much better.
Nebula Phoenix are honestly the one that I'm favoring going into this engagement. I think that site was really smart on their side. You see the sites popped in response from Atlas. Their goal right now has to be to kill Knight and sites, but sites are going to end. Sombra moving through the building, not going to be there in time for the Diva Bomb combo, and that means that their biggest trump card was just dropped for nothing. Tire rolling up the side, it's a bit sneaky. It's going to find one, but it's just going to be the Diva Mech, but meanwhile, 3 have fallen. Transcendence is out. This is all but over right now. It looks like Nebula Phoenix have taken a very convincing map 2 victory, and we should be moving on to map 3 of what could potentially be a 3-game series at this rate. Nebula Phoenix definitely looking super strong. Play of the game, I'm imagining it's going to go to the Rocket Barrage. Nope, it's going to go to Naya. What was this? I think this was a 3K if I remember correctly. Oh.
No one can hide from my sight.
My bad. Barely knew about that play because it didn't pop up in the kill feed. Naya did a lot of damage. Not saying that was a bad play at all, because doing a lot of damage meant that her team were able to confirm kills and follow up on shots that she had landed. It's just, I hadn't seen the kill feed, so I wasn't expecting that to be play of the game, honestly. But we should be taking a 5-minute break for our halftime intermission. It's not, with how the game's been going, it's not looking like it will be a halftime, but more of a 2/3 time. But regardless of that, we should be seeing you right back here in 5 minutes.
And just real quick before I send you guys off to your 5-minute break, I do want to give a big shout out to the bit war that has been going on the entirety of that last fight. There was a bit war going on between, I think, 5 or 6 people. S'mores is still on top, but Billy Bob came in there out of nowhere with a 1,500 bit cheer to take a dominant lead, but then S'more came back to reclaim his title, and it's just been going back and forth that entire last match. So again, thank you everybody for all the cheers, all the bits. Everything goes towards the the Rose League.
Yes, we're funding Rocket League.
We're funding Rocket League in the back along with the Rose League.
Yeah, their production was falling behind. They weren't getting enough microtransaction sales.
Oh yeah, not
you
at
know?
all. They need
Yeah.
more chests to be open.
So currently we have S'mores in the lead at 1,551, Billy Bob Joe Sam at 1,500, and the Blades Gaming
Yeah, the
at
Blades Gaming
200 bits.
at 200. So
A
again,
bit of
thank
a
you everybody.
disparity.
Yeah, I mean, but
I'm
every little bit
surprised
helps.
that we didn't see S'mores at the 1,501. It's the 1,551.
We're expecting the Price is Right sort of stuff going on around here.
Hey, chat, can we get 1,552? That'd be great. Anyways.
But we'll see you back here after the 5-minute break.
I'm here fighting habits, call it systematic. mind, and all you get is static. I'm fully automated, don't think you could take it. 10 steps ahead of what you procrastinated. I'm surrounded, try to focus, but I'm clouded. Need
Traveling to Hanamura.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining me, I am your caster, Heathen. Joining me today is my producer, First Night of Neat, and we are casting a match in the Platinum Division quarterfinals of the Season 2 of the Rose League match between Roadrunners and Nebula Phoenix. And before we break down too much what has happened in the game, I'd like to break down what's been going on in the chat. Because last time when you left me, I was asking for somebody to put up 1,552 bits, and S'mores did respond herself. But since then, we have had a new bit leader take over, Billy Bob Joe Sam, taking it from 1,500 original bits to 3,000 total bits. Thank you very much for donation. And that out of the way, time to get into the map. We have a 2-1 lead for this series so far, going the way of Nebula Phoenix. They've been looking very strong so far. But right now, looking at the defense, we see G-Wrath, letters are hard, G-Wrath on the Mei. This is pretty classic for Hanamura because it is very difficult to move through this choke. And if you're not a character that can get to high ground, there's no way around it. So a lot of opportunity to wall off characters, specifically usually looking to wall off a Reinhardt because he's probably the best candidate to be murdered on his own. But I don't think Nebula Phoenix are going to give that opportunity because Spike is sitting on the Hammond right now, and this is a very mobile character. It's going to be difficult for them to wall off anybody right now, and it looks like they have the perfect counter right now to this composition. Looks like Nebula Phoenix taking the high ground, moving the Sombra around the back as the Diva takes a little bit of a frontline position. They successfully moved into the building, and J Squad rotating around just a little bit to try and counter that positioning. But we see Weber on the high ground. The hack is good on the J Squad, and that opens up this point for a lot of damage to be sustained, but not a lot is falling in during the duration of this hack, and I don't suspect a whole lot will be falling in at all. J Squad set back up on the point, throwing out the Fire Strike, looking to build up a little bit of ult charge, and Sombra, Nai is going to be the one who falls into trouble, forced back to heal up. There's a lot of poke right now, but nobody's really looking to commit at the moment. We see Wrecking Ball rolling in, dropping down, getting the knockback, getting in a little bit of damage, getting frozen up, however, meaning that his momentum will be stopped before, as I say that Malice does get taken out. That's exactly the pick that they needed from the side of Nebula Phoenix. Rolling forward is the Hammond one more time. And the Nano Blade coming out. It's going to rampage to the background. There's no defensive ult to stop this quite yet. So number at 90%, meaning that the cleanup will be very easy from the side of Nebula Phoenix going into second point. Gosh, I keep just looking back over at the stream to make sure there's no new bit leader. But anyways, going in the second point, we see on the attacking side, we have the EMP and we have the Diva Bomb almost ready along with the Minefield, but we do need a pause. Hopefully we'll get that pause because it has been requested. Who is lobby leader at the moment? Storms is lobby leader. Storms, you gotta get on your duty, man. Everyone's asking for a pause at the moment. We're having two levers. The pause finally comes through. Both people who left, however, appear to be from the spectators, and the pause is going to come through just as a little bit of a whiffed execution comes out from Spike, but the rally to counter was popped. Wait, is the pause because... So it looks like the accusation is that the pause is because there were spectators who weren't team locked and were able to view the opposing side as they set up. Not really able to check that at the moment, and not really in charge of it. Okay, yeah, they were set up to spectate the wrong team. Okay, that's interesting. So as our referee deals with that, we had a really strong first push coming out from Nebula Phoenix. They're going really well off the momentum that they were carrying from the first two games and going into this second objective, they have a good chunk of ultimates to work with, but it's going to be difficult because of the ultimate that they're going to be facing off with. They're going to need to find a pretty valuable pick on either Mei or Zarya. Neither of those are very easy characters to pick off early if they want to avoid a pretty devastating Graviton, a Blizzard combination. Okay, so looks like we're resolving things. It looks like we will be continuing forward from the current state of the game, which means we got to watch out for that Diva Bomb EMP coming out from Nebula Phoenix versus the Graviton Blizzard combination from the side of Roadrunner. The combination I'm talking about from the side of Roadrunner Gaming isn't quite built yet, but the defensive ultimate, Sonumbre's sound barrier is ready, which means that they should have plenty of time to try and build it up. If they decide that that's even needed, Sonumbre, of course, would like to hold on to that ultimate to block Weatherblade and Yarzik's Nanoblade for the next fight, as that was pretty devastating in the previous fight, regardless of if they used it while the opponent was down 1 or 2 players at the time. Looks like everybody should be readying up at the moment. Both teams have said that they are ready, so this pause should be ending soon. There isn't a whole lot of action in the present moment. Perhaps Nessington and Weatherblade caught a little bit out of position if Lucio were to speed forward due to Spike being stuck on the low ground. I don't know what angle the camera's at. The camera's not in an angle. We're looking at the spinning logo. That's right. Props to First Night of Knee, by the way, updating our spinning Rose League logo. You can now tell what direction it's spinning, and we're getting it on pause as the bit leader, I think, just changed. The bomb being thrown to the back line, EMP to follow up. That's the two-man combination, exactly what they needed. A lot of momentum coming out from Nebula Things right now, but the Blizzard is in response. It's catching just Nessington at the moment, but he's in the heal nade. Sonumbre does get taken out, but there was a single pick on Kirk, who had Transcendence. That's actually a pretty important pick for this fight, and it means that Roadrunner do have a very slim chance of coming back into this fight. Nessington dying means that it's quite a wide opportunity now. Whoever's going to be taken out as well, and that's going to force Yarzik, the man whose name I cannot ever comfortably pronounce, to fall back. He is going to do so safely, not getting killed off, which means that he's going to save a little bit of his ult charge because he can heal himself, meaning that Yarzik is at 99%, just waiting on Weatherblade before they drop the Nanoblade. But Sonumbre is ready. The sound barrier is built up, and there isn't an EMP to purchase at the moment, meaning that's going to be challenging for the EMP blade to find its value. But G-Wrath forced to use Icicle in the high ground, dropping to the low ground, meaning that there's a bit of opportunity for Nebula to move forward. As I say that, picks from both sides, and as the defenders, trades aren't that unfavorable. They actually favor them. Nanoblade coming out, Graviton and B in response. 2 ults for 2 ults means that whoever's going to be taken out. Nebula Phoenix do hold the high ground, but it should be short-lived as J-Squad is on the high ground, forces Sombra to relocate back, and everyone falls on the low ground to take out Yazrik, Yarzik. God, that's hard. Okay. Sombra jumping in at 75% ult charge, looking to get some more ult charge, I imagine, trying to build a Diva Bomb to drop with Nessington's ultimate, hopefully later on. But they didn't win the fight even off of that combination before, so I'm not super sure that it's gonna win the fight outright this time. Meanwhile, we see Roadrunner sitting on the high ground, Junkrat's trying to spam in a little bit of damage from Nebula Phoenix's side. Ice Ball has been used, and that is a signal for Spike Mecha to go forward, dropping the mine. EMP comes out, and this isn't the greatest combination, and it's kind of showing. Naya has been taken out. Spike trying to roll forward, isn't going to find any meaningful damage, and Nebula Phoenix are down 1, going to even it up by taking out Kirk taking out Matlas at the cost of Kirk. Dragon Ball rolling forward, trying to do some damage. The Anthony has landed on Nexus, but Nexus is going to get bubbled and killed back up before that damage can come in. Nessington falling back, being demacked. This fight looked like it was over quite a while ago for Nebula Things, but they decided to commit to it and it didn't quite pan out. I'm not sure what they saw, but I surely wasn't seeing it. Going to this next engagement, however, Nessington does have Diva Bomb, but Naya no longer has EMP. Which means that the combo is a bit off sync. If Naya can build EMP as fast as she has been building it, though, they could possibly have that combination for the next engagement. Naya getting anti-nated up, being forced to relocate away, is still antied on the relocate, though. I believe that to be a bug because it should purge that. Only costs a few seconds. Not really a big deal, but Graviton Surge pops out. Kaya rolling in, Blizzard is going, and a lot of ultimates being dropped. Not a whole lot of idea of who's winning for me, at least, and one being taken out from each side means the defenders in the lead, and Jireth confirms that by taking out Kirk. Or, I'm sorry, the attackers. No, that's the defender. Yeah, I thought I got turned around for a moment, but nope, the defenders are very thoroughly in the lead here. Not a tick to be taken for the defenders so far. And Nessington dropping the Diva Bomb in that fight means that there isn't an EMP combo. Well, no, I'm sorry. Nessington currently is in mech. I believe Nessington has Diva Bomb, and Nessington does have Diva Bomb. That will confirm it. The ultimate combination is in fact online for this next engagement, and there is the opportunity for them to actually win this fight this time around. They have a pretty devastating combo online, but it is their only ultimates online. Meanwhile, Sound Barrier isn't going to do a whole lot against EMP unless Sunumbre can hide himself away. Matlas's rally isn't going to stop a Diva Bomb damage, but it might help it far enough away. Nessington being frozen up on point, however, Naya being taken out, the Diva Bomb being dropped, but the EMP is not there. J-Squad is going to be taken out, but the defenders have done the damage. Kirk being taken out as well. Sound Barrier comes in for the side of Roadrunner, but it might be too little too late. Anti-Nade is good. It lands on main tank and takes out Brigitte effectively. Weber taking out Spike to follow. And it looks like we're going to see the defense hold pretty comfortably. We see a Lucio trying to battle out on the side. I have very comfortable health to do so. Just building up a little bit of ult charge. It's sitting at 70% now. That's pretty well played from Yardzik, not leaving immediately, but instead waiting to get a little bit of damage. Especially because this will be the last fight, and they're going to need every ultimate that they can get because G-Rath is coming up on Blizzard, and it looks like the main tank's going to be taken out. Spike does fall before the fight gets a chance to take underway. Nessington falling very low, getting demeched. Yardzik taken out. Blizzard dropping 8 seconds on the clock. Shinsens does come out, but all that Kirk can really do is get to point. He can't get anywhere from there. The EMP being used isn't going to have any impact at all. And that should be it. I don't believe anybody's going to make it to point in time. 1 point captured in 0 progress made on the second point for Nebula Phoenix. This is the chance that Roadrunner Gaming needed to take this series back and try to start the reverse sweep. But they are so deep in the hole that would have to be a reverse sweep at this point, and that's very challenging to do and not something that I've witnessed recently. Looking back at the bidding war, oh, I saw the 1500 bid cheer earlier, but it was just Billy Bob, Joe Sam widening his lead, sitting at 4,500 bits now, the equivalent of $45 US, I believe, in donations. Thank you very much, Joe Sam, for the generous donation. But we see third place has been taken over by XXX King Avatar XXX. I believe it was sitting before at 200 bits, but it's now sitting at 400 bits. Anyways, having taken out of the way, looking at the defense right now, we see a Snoats composition. The Snow Goats. May being subbed in for the Diva. It's what we normally see in the Goats composition. This is a comp I like to see a lot here. It's really good at brawling out on the points. It's really good at separating people at the choke, which is really easy to do on this map. Very challenging for the attackers to get around that Mei wall. But there are a few ways to do it, and we see Yardzik is on the... I'm sorry, we see Matlas is on the Symmetra, which is definitely one way to get around the Mei wall. This is interesting. We don't see a whole lot of Symmetra. Are they going to teleport straight through choke? Are they going to teleport all the way to point? And they're not going to teleport anywhere. Matlas taking out the fight immediately. A lot of damage being thrown in, and the shield was not quite there for as long as it needed to be. So it'll be a poke battle, and Weber comes out in the lead with 34% ult charge. Spike taking a lead. Nope, I'm sorry. Weber's still in the lead at 43% ult charge. Blizzard should be the first ultimate to come online. But we see Matt Last has swapped over to the Pharah. This is one of, I think, if not the most effective counter, at least so far in this tournament, to the Stokes composition. Picking Pharah, jumping up in the sky, putting in a little bit of damage. But actually, we have a quad DPS composition from Roadrunners right now. That's a really big commitment, but it's working so far. Kirk has been taken out, and damage is falling into this Nebula Phoenix lineup. Weber was forced to use Icicle to heal himself up, and that means he doesn't have it for when this damage comes in. Madlet's paying for it with his life, however, and it looks like two have fallen. It's a very brawly fight right now, but the res are coming out, meaning that Roadrunners should be in the lead. Rocket Rush coming out, catches two. It's looking for a third, and it's not quite going to find it. Yarslik barely holding onto his life, taking out Pharah, gonna die eventually, and that means that first point should be getting capped. Kirk is trying to contest it, but it should be capped by the side of Roadrunner Gaming, meaning that they're in a really good spot to try and take the one tick required on second point in order to get the map score that they need to start the reverse sweep that I talked about a moment ago. And going into this fight, they have G-Res, Blizzard. Weber has his Blizzard in response, but oh, we're seeing swaps actually coming out from the side of Roadrunners. Upickle swapping back over to the Ana. J Squad on the Orisa. This is unusual, I have to say. Sorry about that. This is unusual. I don't often see Bunker or Orisa run on this point. I'm curious to see how they're going to run it. They use the Mei wall to make some space. They will move forward onto... Nope, they're not going to move forward. They're going to stay there. It's possible. Well, meanwhile, Yardzik taking out Matlas. That's going to be a bit... Nope. Resurrect comes out, meaning that they do not have to wait for the respawn to come in, and they're ready to get going right now. Mei is setting up to wall off the enemy. Halt comes in. Mei wall is dropped, but instead by Nebula Phoenix. Pickles considering taking a wide angle, but they're going to move forward. J Squad has taken the high ground, and it looks like the Valk's going to come out. The Blizzard was stopped by Weber, killing his counterpart. EMP comes out from Nexus, Nexus, but pays for it with his life, and it's not the most effective EMP in the world right now. It's up to Matlas to get a lot of damage, and Matlas is finding a bit of that damage right now, but is being frozen up. And if he can't get his momentum back up, never mind, Weber is forced to Icicle to save his own life, but now he takes out Matlas. In the meantime, it wasn't even the threat he was looking for. The anti-nade is on Weber, but the whole team from Roadrunner Gaming is going to fall, and that should be a reset coming out from the side of Roadrunner. I'm curious to see if they're going to sit on this composition. They are opting to sit on this composition. 3 DPS. I guess Mei can sort of be classified as a tank. She has a lot of the tank utility, can close off pathways, create the wall, heal herself up, take a bit of damage. Effectively a tank, so it's almost 2-2-2 in the classical sense. But there's a lot of time being taken for these respawns to come in because of how late Nexus did die. Meaning that a lot of time is going to burn off the clock, and that might have been an entire push basically wasted because of this respawn time. And a bit of discussion. It wasn't... Nexus didn't die on D.Va. Nexus died on Stormbird and then swapped to D.Va. That's what happened. I see now. There was a swap that came out eventually. I'm a little bit blind. Nexus on the high ground taking a bit of damage. Might be a little bit too much damage. The Sleep Dart is good on Nexus, but will fall back. Malas, however, is the one that's going to pay for it with his life. And Sunumbre is forced to retreat through the ice wall as J Squad gets walled up on his own. Mixed out, however, so only Sunumbre is going to be the one to fall. J-Red, however, J Squad to fall shortly after. The moment that they say that they were safe, they were not. Nexus going to reset by jumping off the cliff themselves. And we're seeing more swaps come out from Roadrunner Gaming. If this is a draw, Nebula Phoenix do win the series, so they really need to get this point tick right now. And I have to say, it looks like they haven't been sitting around long enough on any composition to build up their ult combinations effectively. And meanwhile, we have 5 ults ready from Nebula Phoenix. It's going to be really difficult for them to push in right now off of just Nano Boost into Diva Bomb, Primal Rage, High Noon, Nano Boost of their own, and a Transcendence. Only thing missing right now is Weber, but the Ghost composition moves on to point. But the anti-nade is good, catching 3, forces out the Nano in the... Well, the Nano gets used to J-Squad, but J-Squad is off the map. That's not what you wanted to see. The rest of Roadrunners just left on the point to die on their own, and they're definitely going to do that. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left on the clock. Roadrunner put in 1 ultimate into that fight, and Nebula Phoenix, I guess, put 2 ultimates into that fight, so I guess it's an economic win for Roadrunner, but that definitely was not how they should have played that. I think it was a bit of a mistake for J-Squad to jump off the map, especially with Nano Boost going, just for the kill onto one of the Nebula Phoenix players. We see Roadrunner game move to the high ground, the wall comes out, the Blizzard follows up, and it means that this push should just be about dead. T-Bomb coming in, but it's not going to connect with anything. It doesn't matter for a fawn for the side of Roadrunner Gaming already. And it looks like it's going to be a 5th and 6th here shortly as EU Pickles stands still to take her death. And it looks like Malice is going to lose the Diva Mech, and Malice is going to lose his life, which is honestly what she wanted there, given that she didn't have the Diva Mech, was going to be forced to jump off the cliff anyways and could have faced a potential stagger. 1 minute on the clock. It's all coming down to the wire. Roadrunner Gaming, playing for their tournament lives, need to get the win on this map. Anything less and they are kicked out of the Rose League Season 2 playoffs. The pressure has to be on at the moment, and the ults are stacked against them. Now you're waiting on the high ground with the High Noon. A lot of opportunity to zone out a lot of these members, and there's a Primal Rage ready to toss around this main tank to open up sightlines for the High Noon to land. But Goats has managed to make its way to point, a little bit separated though it may be. And Nexus being taken out is not what you wanted. The Nano Boost on the Winston means a lot of damage is falling in right now. It's trying to be soaked up with the rally, and it's kind of being successful. But the High Noon coming out isn't going to connect with anything in a major way. Hammer down, landing on Spike, taking out the main tank. Malice did lose mech, however, in the meantime, in the Nano Boost coming out, the Sleep Dart is there. J-Squad going to lose the majority of his health as well as 4 of his teammates. Oh my god, that Sleep Dart coming out from Yarzig, absolutely amazing. Put the nail in the coffin, and that's going to be it. Nebula Phoenix walking with the series, and they're going to move on to the semi-final match in the Conference 1 playoffs for Platinum Division.
Play of the game.
Play of the game, Nessington with the Diva Bomb. I believe it's right there at the end. Honestly, kind of give it to the Sleep Dart. I mean, a lot of those members weren't behind the Reinhardt, but a couple of them were near the Reinhardt and could have had the damage absorbed by that shield. So, props to both members there, I guess, on that play. It was a good, coordinated Diva Bomb between the Ana and the Diva. Felt weird saying the word Diva twice. Looking back at the chat, we're sitting at 4,500 as our bit leader. Still being held by Billy, Bob, Joe, Sam. Thanks once again for that donation. Did you want to join in, Night Ebony? I heard your mic crackling there.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I've been kind of keeping track of the chat as it's going on. I think the bit war has come to an end so far. And I'm sort of still in shock from that last play. Roadrunner was so close. Like, you could barely see any sliver between the first tick and, like, I legit jumped back in just surprise at that bomb. I was like, oh my god, that is so huge.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting the 4K. I thought some of the team, at least, was near walls. I may have missed it because I was paying attention to the Reinhardt there.
Looks like Storms is actually looking up to see if we're going to be playing more games.
Oh.
Seeing that it is technically a best of 5. So,
oh, is it?
I mean,
Wait,
I'm just
we're
looking at
not
what
done.
Storms is saying. But that because like you were saying, I didn't see the other 4. I just saw the Ryan sleep, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna get the Ryan, and then all of a sudden,
Yep.
all these names just explode across the screen. I'm just like, oh my
up.
god.
Brigitte was behind her shield and died to it.
It's a we'll have to go back and watch the VOD to actually try to get any sort of understanding of what was going on. But it was.
I mean, I'm going back and watching the VOD right now. We have a moment while Storm checks the rulebook to see what's happening right now.
So we're about to get a reading from Storm.
But yeah, a draw is the best score that Roadrunner has at the moment, and it's not looking good for them even if they are to continue in this series. Superstar was good. Yeah, 2 members would have been saved by the Rhine shield if it were up. I see Brigitte. Okay, wait, who do I now have track of here? Brigitte is behind. G-Reth is behind a shield and dies anyways.
I believe Hammond also got hit by the bomb. I don't know where the Hammond was at that point in time.
Hammond just rolled through.
Ah, that might be an issue.
As the bomb was going off.
Not exactly the smart. I mean, you can't really block the bomb with Hammond's thing, so I'm not exactly sure what that was going on there.
But yeah, waiting on the official. So someone somewhere, I'm hearing some pings. Am I being pinged by the ref about this? Let's see.
Everybody in chat is asking for them to play on.
Yeah, I'm gonna act like we have a 4th map based on the draw.
We play
But
another, according to Storm.
Okay.
We move on
We'll
to
keep
map
going.
4.
I was wrong. This one. Roadrunner Gaming needs to win or they're kicked out of the playoffs. This is the match where everything's on the line. And if they win it, the next match will be everything else on the line. And if they win that, we'll go to a map 6 where everything's on the line then.
Everything's on the line.
Everything's on the line constantly for
At all
Roadrunner Gaming
times.
moving forward. They need an absolute perfect series from this point on.
Reverse sweep. Will we see it?
Oh, wait. I'm looking at chat. McCree landed a flash on Brigitte, removing the shield. It's just very difficult to see.
It's so fast paced that I wasn't able to pinpoint everything that happened. There was so many things that happened there. It was just, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it all just like 1 second.
Everybody's gone.
Everyone blew up. Okay, where is McCree? I think McCree was sitting on the high ground then? Did he drop down to? Hold on, McCree isn't anywhere near that Brigitte. I'm watching that again. The McCree is saying that it was due to the McCree flash, but based on my camera angle, it looks like it was pretty far away. It'd be difficult to convince me that that was the McCree flashbang. I got it. I'm enjoying watching this clip though while we have some downtime, waiting for the map to start.
I mean, I don't have the rules pulled up. Let me see if I can find those real quick.
Oh,
Because Storm said
we're having
playing
a
another,
discussion
but
about the rules. I see.
because in theory, what would happen is it is a best of 5 normally, and the first 3 wins. So if there's a draw, we play. But if like this is just my assumption, okay? I don't know if this is in the rules or not. So best of 5, first of 3. We get a draw. We keep playing until somebody gets a third game. If we end up playing all 5 games,
draws.
if we end up getting to then you got me no clue. But
Yeah, if there's a second draw, we would definitely have to end.
yeah, because I guess that would be considered.
Okay, wait. I have the perfect picture of the McCree flashbang catching the Brigida.
Aha. There we go.
I can confirm that was a coordinated diva bomb between the McCree, the Anna, and the diva, resulting in a 4K and 1,000 damage into a nano boosted Reiner.
My goodness. Just everything. Everything happened in that one instance.
Okay, we're having having a continued discussion. A couple of ideas are being thrown around right now on what technically the rules mean.
Is there... Let me see. Is there a set map pool?
Yeah, I can it's hidden away.
It's hidden away. Okay.
It's hidden away.
Gotcha. Because normally what happens is Game 5 is a control that wasn't played. And if there's a Game 6, it would be the last control that wasn't played. At least that's how I've seen it done.
So the Game 6 could be a Busan. The map 5 is going to be Nepal. Wait, set up as a tiebreaker map.
The 5th
Okay.
map is a tiebreaker map.
Hold up. Where is this constitution that we have?
It is within the info under servers tab.
Or you can find it at our website, https://www.theroseleague.org, where you can find all sorts of quality content like Season 2 official leaderboard, official schedule, and contact info and some pictures of a few of the staff members.
Woo! My picture isn't in there, but that's fine.
Let me just plug there. Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of waiting for what's gonna happen, because there's nothing necessarily in the Constitution that.
So, okay, the thing is that the Constitution very specifically says best of 5.
Yes. Oh my god. Another 1,500 from Billy Bob. So that is 6,000 so far from Billy Bob. This is ridiculous. Thank you, Billy Bob. I'm gonna... While we're waiting, I'm just gonna put on some music in the background.
Welcome back, everyone. So we're done with the discussion on the official reading of the rules, and it looks like the original interpretation was correct in that Nebula Phoenix has won the series off of the draw of the last map. So they will be moving on, and that means that Roadrunner Gaming has met the end of their run so far this season in the Rose League. Very sad for them, but definitely congratulations on Nebula Phoenix for putting up a really strong 3-map performance in this series. Be excited to see them continue on throughout the rest of the season, but it looks like they're going to have a pretty difficult bracket against them because they have to face the winners of Nightwolf versus Unchained White next. But, kind of a... Looking back at the chat, we see that Billy Bob Joe Sam has hit 6,000 bits donated. I believe that's higher than it was the last time we talked about it. That's roughly $60 donated. Thank you very much for helping to support us and the Rose League. But with that being said, I know it's a bit of a tradition to do MVP, but honestly, solo casting does not give me a great opportunity to look around and figure out who's been putting in the most work in these fights. Would you like to weigh in on that, Knight of Knee, or?
I mean, I'm going to have to give it to, I believe it was Malta or whoever was playing Farah on the side of, I forgot the name. I've just, Matless.
Red team, blue team.
Matless.
What?
Matless, who was playing.
Matless?
Yeah, I know the Matless was playing on the side of Roadrunner Gaming.
Yeah.
And unfortunately they didn't win, but he definitely dominated pretty well on Farah when he was needed. They just weren't able to execute on his picks, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair assessment. I know that he was definitely running a couple of fights and kept the pace or determined the pace for a lot of the engagements. I could see that. That's definitely a fair assessment. But yeah, with that, I don't believe there's anything left. So make sure to come in for the stream tomorrow. Tomorrow we should have That's Crazy versus Going Main in our Diamond Division playoffs. Should be super exciting. And joining us will be Captain Jack casting and Caden on production. And with that, I think that's going to be the end of the stream. Good night to everyone who tuned in, and thanks once again for everyone who donated.
You're muted. And I am not.
I'm hitting them with that artillery fire. It'll be I against the world until I desire to chill and be quiet. Until in the industry giving me mine. Shit could get wicked, but it'll be fine. Nothing else that I could tell you. Find your lessons in your failures, cause your failures will prepare you for your blessings. If I help you face your struggles with the words I'm speaking, I'm really just helping myself, cause we are one if you believe it. Believe it. My verses are causing a bridge. Sipping a 40 with shorty that used to ignore me, but now they all up on my dick. Same kid with the same heart and a better whip around fake stars. I walk around with a target that's all on my back and these haters playing darts. Rolling so deep when I roll out, blowing the smoke and the SoCal. They told me go back to my old style. No, everything I do is so fire. Copping a weed from my friends, sipping on gin, killing myself with these ends. They used to not care what I said. A stroke of my pen will leave all these rappers in fear. I'm a can like tech and every lesson is a blessing. I do this shit for my brethren. None of these rappers got a message. When I'm feeling low, when I'm feeling down, not thinking twice, take a shot of crown. Homies rolling loud, but I pay for it. Working since my mama laid off rest.